Mike Patrick. In this video, I'm going to start by asking a question. Was the founding fathers not social justice warriors of their time? Now, the reason I want to ask that question is because I want to allow that question to get me into my topic and my point. Okay? So, what we have, guys, is you have the millennial generation. You hear me speak on the millennial generation quite often. All right, because for one, I am a part of the millennial generation, and it at this point is the most important generation that will end up dictating where society and our world goes from here. Okay, so with that said, guys, there's been a lot of criticism, okay, when it comes to the millennial generation, because the millennial generation doesn't appear to be adapting to the way that things have been set up and that has been made tradition. Okay, now there's a couple ways to look at that. It all depends on what side of the argument you are on. It all depends on what your agenda is. Now, when it comes to debate, arguments, right, it's not necessarily ever about right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong. It's more so about who can push their agenda on someone else, who can push their agenda on the majority, so that can be law, or so that can be grounds for what is considered normal, acceptable, so forth and so forth. Okay, and so the thing is, guys, anyone who can, that is dominant enough, okay, who seems assured enough, can push their agenda no matter whether it benefits you or not. Anyone can persuade you, okay? And so if they have good persuasion skills, okay? And so with that said, guys, for a long time we have been doing things a certain way, and certain people have had certain agendas, okay? And so they have persuaded enough people to do things a certain way, and to accept circumstances and accept life to be a certain way, okay, and to accept a certain reality, all right, without many people ever really challenging it. And every so often people come along, okay, after enough time, all right, and enough situations that stimulate change end up taking place, and eventually things change, okay? And then the paradigm changes, the way that people look at things changes, the way that people operate changes. And so what we have is, we have an inevitably changing world, obviously, right? And millennials have been given a bad rap because through the persuasion and the idea and the agenda of the way things were, we've been called all kinds of nasty things, only because we simply just do things differently, okay? um you know in a society where the way that we are being perceived, collectively and generally, in a society where these things are normal, and when things are completely conducive to the way that the majority are, then it will just be normal, right? And then the way that things were done for a long time in the past, when that's no longer considered the norm, okay, then that will be considered, that will be worthy of criticism, okay? So, guys, what you have to do, talking to the millennials, talking to anyone, okay, who may perceive things a certain way, who may stand for certain change, as long as the change is to benefit the majority, because nothing's going to ever benefit everybody based on the fact that people just have different minds and different agendas. So somebody's agenda has to win and somebody's agenda has to lose. But I guess you could say is, whatever agenda is at least attempting to do what's best or have the best intentions for the majority, okay? And with that said, guys, all the names that you get called as millennials, don't worry about it, guys. The people who's doing this is usually people who they benefited from a certain type of way. Now, things are being extremely threatened, okay? You know, and it's a real desperate attempt to try to get things to be back the way it was, so certain people can be comforted, okay, and to have things in their favor as much